This was the big headline for the news business, I think. And like Terry said, it probably saw it everywhere this week because all the data was finally in. They could get a true comparison from January 1 last year to now. Big decrease all around, probably the biggest one on social media interactions with news. But to me, this all just says we should compare 2021 to 2019 because 2020 is just such an anomaly. As I said earlier, it's like just what goes up must come down. If there's some external force on a system and it's throwing everything out of whack, of course, it's going to go back towards where it was before. But the question is it higher than it was in 2019, in 2021? I think people were hoping that it would stay at those levels, but we saw almost 2x increase in traffic at the peak of COVID. Of course, that's not going to sustain. Any comments on this at all?
I'm curious, does it mention local outlets, how they've been affected, or is this all in the context of national?
It's not broken down like that. Maybe we could do our own kind of research study on this.
Maybe it's the political stuff was so fiery.
Look at this
on social media.
Yep.
That and COVID. Yeah. Those two things right there pushed everything up for the year. And then it all just kind of, people were getting tired of COVID.
Sure.
And they still are. And some people were kind of shying away, and Trump lost his accounts. And like that. So I think that probably had a little bit to do with that big drop in the social media interaction for news.
For sure.
People wanted to get back to looking at family pictures and seeing what people are doing again.
Right. He was just completely dominated. I remember hearing a lot of people saying he was really good for the news business because he really did get people to tune in. He definitely drove page views. At the local level, I have no idea what the stats would be. I would imagine they're similar, but I don't know. Yeah, it could just be partly people are burnt out on just too much information.
Well, it looks like they were also using a similar web for some of their
did they?
Their charting. We might want to grab an account on there because you get really granular with which sites and by region and by category of site and all kinds of things, which might be very interesting if you wanted to pursue this type of comparison.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm all for that. Let's talk about doing that more later. And the other thing I wanted to bring up on this, looking at these high level studies, sometimes it can be hard to take away something practical here. I just had some notes here on this. What can publishers do? What can local publishers do about this? And I just think focus on your marketing funnels and automate as much of that as you can so you can keep up with things and continue to put out a lot of content on social media, using your newsletters to funnel people into the website, promoting your website in the print edition. A lot of the stuff that we're just always talking about, just take back control of your own marketing and automate it as much as you can. And then once they get on the website, focus on ways to engage with the readers on the site and keep them coming back. This was an anomaly in 2020, unnatural force acting on it. Can we bring in another force for good, just to keep people interested, not because they're scared and they're trying to find out what's happening.
And so I would add to that by it's the type of content.
Yes.
That the outlets need to focus on, which I think could bring the readership back. The more engaging, the more positive. The things we saw from Menzigem, the things you see from Signals AZ, where it's real hyper local, it's neighborhood news, and that's what people seem to be from this chart, not wanting to see all the scary stuff. They would rather see what's going on in their neighborhood.
Like Guy is so against, any crime reports at all. He thinks that's just not the place of news, but that traditionally news has been kind of negative. Yeah. I just think focusing on what's going on in the community, highlighting feel-good stories. But from a technical perspective, we're doing this with related articles. That's going to show people other stories that they are likely to be interested in and generate another page view and more time on site. Audio articles, not really generating a lot of page views. I'll admit that because it's just not required to use the feature. You stay on a single page and listen to it. But the time on site is going to be much more. I think if you can just keep someone engaged for a long period, each time they come, they're going to be coming back more frequently. And then also just polls, surveys, getting user feedback. asking your users what they want to see more of. And that's just one data point that you can take into consideration about what you said, Chris, writing about things that people want to hear about. But I think you would also want to look at your data, the website analytics. You can look at your most popular categories, adjust your coverage that way. Just how much do we spend on covering sports, or where do we feature it on the website or in the print edition? Should we change that to serve our audience better?
Another thing too, Matt, is to promote the value of both your print and your digital.
Right, exactly.
You can promote the value of your print by saying, not everything is online.
Right.
See this for,
right.
story in print, or not everything is in print. See our online edition.
Right.
It's not a bad thing to toot your own horn when you're in the news business.
For sure.
Statistics are every publisher's. That's what they have to. That's their thing. They have to be on top of it. And
right.
I think we preach to the choir when we say, "Look at your statistics." But
yeah, I know
it bears repeating, and again, promote the value of what you do.
With this type of thing, I'm just thinking, before we get off of this article and go to Tyler's, could we put in the development pipeline just some type of a quick digest? I think maybe even it's possible with Madamo now to send publishers a list of their most popular category, like the top 3 categories of the month or something. I don't know if there's any kind of report that we could create like that.
That's a great idea.
I'm guessing it exists, but it's probably just some spreadsheet. I'm picturing just like a real short email, top 3 categories, not like all the details of the statistics, but just showing them what's trending on their site. Even if you sit down with someone and walk them through looking at it, to have them go and do it on their own once a week or once a month is a whole nother thing. So
yeah, it can be time consuming. If we can,
sure,
like you said, just break it down into simple, readable stats. That's
right.
I think that would be a great service that we could offer our customers.
Thanks for watching Today in News Tech, the podcast covering innovation in digital journalism. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast apps. We'll see you tomorrow.
At our hometown, we help newspapers build WordPress websites, design native apps, and develop digital subscription models. If you are interested in a free prototype of your publication on WordPress, go to ourhometown.com and click the Contact Us button.